You know, some masks are necessary to wear and to provide much needed protection. Now, I'm going to share something right now that some of you are going to disagree with, but during the pandemic, we've learned that masks can be beneficial in protecting one another from getting the virus. For the last year and a half, we've all learned to wear them in church, restaurants, at our jobs. I mean, it's interesting. I've seen people out walking outside with masks on. Well, luckily, the COVID numbers are down, so the restrictions have loosened up. Hallelujah for that, right? That's good. Now, please, do me a favor. Don't send me any angry texts or emails telling me how stupid that masks are. I don't like them either. However, my friends who are healthcare professionals have told me that masks are effective in helping protect us from transmitting germs and viruses. And that's why when you go in and you have surgery, your doctor and your nurses all wear masks. Can you imagine if you went in there to have open heart surgery and they flippantly walked in and didn't have a mask on and said, you know what, I don't think I'm going to wash my hands? I mean, how would you react? Well, it's to protect you from germs that might hurt you. And they insist that masks have been necessary to protect us during this pandemic. Now, in sports, I am a big sports guy. How many people love baseball, for example? Any baseball lovers? So, man, I'm telling you, my Dodgers are hurting right now. I think they're down 0-2. Tonight they're playing, so I'm praying for a win. But in baseball, a catcher wears a mask. And if he didn't, he'd be hurt very, very badly. If a foul ball or he simply misread a pitch that hits him square in the face. You know, the other night I was watching the Dodgers-Braves game, and one of the pitchers was throwing 102-mile-an-hour fastballs. Now, think about this. If that catcher was not wearing a mask, he would be unprotected. You know, nowadays, even batters sometimes wear masks. They do that as well. In baseball, here's something you need to understand. Masks are necessary for protection. In hockey, I love hockey too. The goalie wears a mask. And you know, it's crazy to see some of the ones that they wear. Some of them look like a serial killer. But when the opposing team slaps that puck at the goal, do you know how fast that puck goes? It goes over 100 miles an hour. And if the goalie didn't wear a mask, he would lose more than a few teeth. Here's the thing I want you to also understand about hockey. They actually have, pro hockey teams have on staff an oral surgeon. So if you want to have nice teeth, that is not the occupation you want to be in. You see, in hockey, masks are necessary for protection. You know, another sport that uses masks, and you're going to laugh at this one, it's fencing. And I'm not talking the kind of fencing we do in Arkansas. That's where you go down and you go, well, I got to put fence down that line. That's not what I'm talking about. You notice that each of those participants have that mesh mask. And the mask is made to protect competitors from getting accidentally stabbed in the face. That would not be too good, would it? See, again, in fencing, masks are necessary for protection. You know, some basketball players also wear masks. Usually they wear a mask after they've suffered a broken nose or an orbital bone from a sharp elbow to the face. One of my favorite old players was a guy named Karl Malone. And Karl Malone had some vicious elbows. You know, and if you were to ask one of those players who choose to wear one of those masks, they would tell you that they wear it for their protection. Sometimes even in basketball, masks are necessary for protection. You know, in many sports, a mask is a form of protection that's not only necessary, but it is critical to the well-being of the athletes. And if they don't wear a mask, injury or even death could result. On a side note, another kind of a mask is a helmet on a motorcycle, especially those full face helmets. And I insist on wearing a helmet when I ride my motorcycle because I want that protection. But if I didn't wear that, guess what? I could die if I went down. Wearing a mask in order to hide what's really going on is not safe, and it's not healthy. And I'm talking about the mask of deception. The one that you wear in order to keep others from knowing what's really going on in your life. This type of mask, it can be detrimental to your health. Some masks protect you while others cause you harm. Let me give you some examples that you might be able to relate to. As you walk into the office on Monday morning, you feel as if everyone is staring at you and they already know what happened to you on Saturday night. You hope that your makeup covers up that big bruise under your eye and your cheek. And you and your spouse, you're viewed as the perfect couple. And you want to make sure that you protect that image. Nobody needs to know. Besides, everyone fights sometimes. Your life is normal. You see, you're hiding behind the mask. You had surgery 4 years ago, and you're still in pain. And you've tried not taking your medication, but it affects your whole life when you do. Now, the doctor says, he's told you that he will no longer give you the prescription for those painkillers any longer. And you need your medication. Besides, you don't have a problem. You're just in pain. The only problem that you have is you need to find another doctor. You see, you're hiding behind the mask. For some of you, it's a secret sin in your life. It's the online gambling, the pornography, the online dating. It's those business trips with your coworker, the lunch dates with your secretary, the angry home life that's filled with fits of rage. You're filled with depression, despair, self-loathing. You see, you're all hiding behind the mask. And for others, it's financial issues. There's mounting debt which leads you to live beyond your means. And you justify it by saying things like, hey, listen, I'm an attorney. I have an image that I have to live up to. Everyone lives like we do. It's the American way. In America, we're hiding behind the mask. There are more obvious issues, such as alcohol, drugs, or tobacco use, but even those more obvious afflictions are often dealt with in secret. And you pretend there's no problem when in reality your life is crumbling. I cannot tell you how many times I'll talk to somebody who obviously has a drug or alcohol problem, and they tell me they don't. They say it's all in control. But the weight of your secrets are crushing you. Students, there's some of you that have secrets. And the weight of those secrets are causing you to act out in unhealthy ways. You see, you're hiding behind the mask. I could go on and on. The list goes on and on. Some addictive and compulsive behaviors are very obvious to people around us. And while others are much easier to hide. You're one person at work, at school, at church, maybe even here at CR. You pretend. And then you're an entirely person elsewhere. And the mask serves as your defense. And you think nobody really knows what's going on. But here is the reality. The mask itself is deceptive. It blinds you from the truth. You're in pain, and there's this gaping hole that can't be filled. You see, your hurt, your hang-up, or your habit, it is not the problem. It's your solution. But there is healing, and there is hope here at First NLR on Tuesday nights. We find our hope following these simple steps and principles that lead us into a deeper relationship with the source of all hope, and his name is Jesus Christ. Yes. We don't do it alone, but instead we carry each other's burdens. Alone we are weak, but together we are strong. And when you try to do things alone, you're susceptible to the devil's schemes and attacks. One of my favorite passages is Ecclesiastes 4:12. It says, a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer, and three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. And one of my favorite scriptures to live by is Galatians 6:2. It says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. And 1 Thessalonians 5:11 goes on to tell us, so encourage each other and build each other up, just as you are already doing. You know, at CRFirstNLR, we don't try to recover alone. We're family here. We're a forever family who've learned firsthand that we can't do it on our own. Listen, if you think you can do it on your own, I promise you, you will fail. It never works. So tonight we're going to stand together and we are going to rid ourselves of the mask. And for some of us this evening, this will be symbolic because we've already thrown away the mask. And we've learned that it really, truly is okay to not be okay. Listen, I want you to know that. You can walk through our doors and you can say, man, I have had a horrible week, and none of us are going to run away from you. In fact, we're going to run to you and we're going to help you walk through it. It's okay to not be okay. But there are others of you tonight, you're not convinced. This is going to be a starting point for you. The night that you finally discard the mask that you've been hiding behind, and you're ready to move forward in your recovery. When you arrived tonight, you were given a white mask and asked to write on it what you want people to see on the front of the mask. So I'm going to share a couple of the things that's on the front of my mask. On the front of my mask, it says I'm confident. It says that I'm smart, that I'm self-assured. But I want you to know that the inside of the mask is where I wrote how I really feel. And that's what I want you to do too. And let me tell you what I wrote, some of the things there. I'm unqualified. I'm unsure. I'm less than. I'm a bad leader. Those are the things that I hide behind. So if you're watching online, what I want you to do, you're saying, well, Pastor Lane, you didn't send me a mask in the mail. And you're right. I didn't know you were going to watch, otherwise maybe I could have done that. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a piece of paper, and on one side of the paper, I want you to write down what you want people to see. And for example, write, I'm fine, life is good, I'm sober, oh, there's no secrets here. And then on the other side of that paper, write the truth. I'm lost. I'm depressed. I'm suicidal. I recently relapsed. I have a porn addiction, alcohol, sex, drugs, whatever it is in your life. Whatever you're really struggling with, I want you to write it down. And some of you were able to write the actual struggle on the front of the mask, while others are ashamed of your sin and you couldn't write it on that front of the mask. That's okay too. Whatever the case, I want you to do me a favor, okay? Take out your masks, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to put on the mask. Let's put them on together. Yeah, I'm not going to actually put it on because it'll make my mic make a funky noise, but now that you got it on, what I want you to do is I want you to look around. Look around. You are not alone. You're not alone. Those of you online, you are not alone. We all struggle in one way or another. And friends, tonight, we're going to rid ourselves of the mask and allow Jesus in this simple program to transform our lives one day at a time. It's going to happen. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to please stand with me. Let me see if I can do something real quick here. If I can get this to work. All right. Stand with me as the worship team starts to play. I want each of you to come forward, and I want you to come throw away your mask. Now, here's the thing. Come take that off real quick. Let's make sure that's going on. There you go. Okay. All right. So here's what I want you to do. I want from the back 5 rows or so, I want you to start coming down these center rows here, okay? And I want you to come and throw away your masks. And then our prayer partners are coming, and they're going to stand on the outside of the stage over on the left and over on the right here, okay? And if you want to take a moment here and just kind of bask in this as you drop your mask, please go ahead and do so, okay? And what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take a moment tonight and we're going to allow Jesus to change us from the inside out. And as it clears out, then the next few rows come on down. And if you haven't gotten a mask yet, will you do me a favor? Go get yourself a mask. And let's rid our masks tonight.